Full circle.
On apartment is an old man, so that's the whole tricky though.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm with Jerry. Simply lemonade is delicious.
Man, that's that fancy lemonade.
Yeah, you gotta get that jug that just say lemonade with the yellow sticker on it.
Nah, that ain't lemonade. That's like lemon punch.
Exactly. Hey, don't it say on there no lemons will harm in the making of this?
It's just yellow.
Like
These
yellow,
all chemicals.
yellow. That's what it is.
Yellow hydration.
It's just like that on Sunday D commercial. Yellow stuff.
Nah, like that boy on it. I want that purple stuff. I want that stuff in there. I want that purple stuff in there.
Exactly.
What's going on? Welcome everybody to another episode of Apartment 4A. Fellas, how everybody doing today?
Hey.
Good.
That's good, man. That's good. Everybody got a pretty good show today. I think we got some stuff to talk about, especially with the recent events and whatnot. Before we get started, I'm gonna go ahead and make my announcement now, so we don't have to talk about it later. Southern Miss on a little slide. We lost a day to Ole Miss. It's all good. We're gonna get it back together. We did lose 4-1. Ole Miss seem to be trending up right now, but hopefully here soon with the weekend we'll get back on the winning side and get everything back to rolling.
Can I say something?
Hattiesburg was hyped tonight.
Now I'm all Southern Miss to the top, but are we really surprised Southern Miss is losing something?
Yeah, baseball. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Baseball, a pretty good baseball team.
Okay, baseball. Okay, all right. I just make sure because
Yeah.
when I hear Southern Miss lost, I don't really be too surprised.
You don't be listening to the wins. That's the problem. You've been winning for a while.
I mean, we can't act like Southern Miss just been bad for a long time. I mean, even the football team at one point, we had the third longest winning streak of college football.
What was
It
it?
just, huh?
Were we still in school then?
Yeah, we was in school then.
Oh, I think it'd been that long ago. It's been 20 years ago. I'm all right. I just saying. Okay, all right.
It's been a little while, yeah.
It ain't been.
It haven't been 20 years.
Next year will be 20 years.
But no, we won.
Not since we've been out of college.
Not since we've been out.
Yeah.
I've been out.
We didn't lose until Ellis Johnson became the head coach.
Yeah,
in football.
What year was it?
That was like 9 or 10.
We had
they went over that year, and they stopped our winning streak.
Yeah, we had opportunity to go. We had opportunity to go into a nice conference right before that.
Yeah,
and now we just.
I'm just asking. Go carry on.
Now we just for the streets.
Yeah. Anybody can get us. last couple dollars, you can get it.
Exactly.
And it's not that Ole Miss is trending; they struggling. They're trying to play their way into the SEC tournament. It's just they've been winning here last week or two, or at least winning their way in. I don't think State gonna make it, so we gonna see.
Yeah,
and see the SEC been playing bad baseball, right? If I'm not mistaken, like 6 teams are below 500. 9-13 record going into the conference playoff.
I mean, you're right. It's a struggle right now. Overall in the SEC as far as baseball, but the top teams like LSU and I think even Tennessee are doing well. I think LSU had lost a home game, and Tennessee just doing well. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm here for. Hopefully, we can get back on the road and actually host a regional. That's kind of the goal, and then we'll go from there.
I think the NCAA should really address the issue about pitching. the rosters for baseball made it more competitive last year with that fifth year seniors, them super seniors. And by them going back to the regular normals, now you see the ones on top still shining while everybody else struggle.
So what you're telling me is last year Mississippi State won a fluke because they had old people playing. That's what you're telling me.
Oh yeah,
People who've been
they
in
getting ready
college
to get their
about
senior
6
citizen
years.
check. Yeah, they get their senior citizen check.
They had minor league players in there.
Yeah, it all makes sense now. I'm with you. Okay, it all makes sense. All right, tonight our episode, we're gonna dive into something probably a little different. It's very interesting. We're talking about role models today versus social media influencers. Right now, when you think about role models, especially when we came up, of course, we all can sit here and say, our role model were our parents and our family. Of course, we all have that. Nobody's taking nothing away from mom and dad and aunts and cousins and stuff. But, we sit here and be realistic. We did look up to the football players, the basketball players. In our age, it was the Mike Trinity, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, and Mike Tyson. They were on top at one point. Especially when it comes to sports and music, those people you looked up to. And then we had, the scholars and whatnot, and people that was economically advanced or economic advanced. But as we grow older, influence and stuff change. We start to listen to different people, different things, and especially now with social media, a lot of people have platforms to kind of say what they want to say. So my question to start everything off is, are role models still relevant today? Do we still have them? If so, who are they?
I got one correction. You forgot Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones. You gotta throw Mike Jones in there.
Hey, yeah, gotta put some respect on his name, man.
I said the question again, right? I apologize.
No, it's all good. That's a good one, though. I like Mike Jones. But the question is, do our role models still relevant today? If so, who are they?
That's a good question, because I don't think people really have real role models anymore. Because it's all about how many likes or how many followers you have, and that's considered a role model.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are role models. I think it's a lot more than there's ever been, and especially with the transparency that we have for famous people, I think it kind of like brings them down a lot closer to our level. And everybody, because of social media, is able to elevate themselves as far as being famous. Like, you can be famous at your school, famous in your state, famous, doing whatever based on your social media. Whereas before, if you wanted to catch the public eye or have any sort of fame, you had to be vetted by a magazine, a TV show, or something. Now with social media and the internet, anybody can be a role model. They can do anything.
But now
somebody can look up to them.
But we using the term role model and famous interchangeable, but I don't think it's the same.
Well, it's not the same, but you have a lot of kids that their role model is somebody based on social media.
But are they truly role models?
Well, so I guess the question is, or a good question is, do you choose to be a role model?
So that's a good question. Do you choose to be a role model? Because, if you remember back in the day when Charles Barkley was playing basketball, he said it straight up. He ain't nobody role model. He don't want to hear it. Yeah. It don't matter how famous he was, how good he was playing. He had won MVP. They said they were going to get swept. He told him straight up, I ain't no role model. And more than likely, it made more people gravitate to him because he said he wasn't. And now, even more people want to like him. And so, regardless if people say that they're role models, to an extent you are. So with that, should anybody, whether you are, especially if you're famous, somebody that's in the media, should you hold yourself to some type of public standard because there are people who are influenced by you?
My thing is now they try to make sure that they don't hold themselves to a standard. whatever the standard is, they try to fall below it, and then people model them even more.
Yeah.
In
Well,
my point of view.
my thing is, I never had a really famous role model because I never was that type of famous person follower per se. But I have had role models that's real life, like bosses and stuff that I wouldn't mind, modeling my life after. But it ain't really ever been like a famous person. Even on social media, I'll watch and stuff like that. But there ain't never been nobody that I want to say, I just want to be just like them or something like that. Now, when it comes to money wise, I wouldn't mind modeling myself after Jay Z, be an ugly person with a beautiful wife. Now I wouldn't mind it. Have all the money, have the hustling going on. But as lifestyle, I don't. I was listening to Steve Harvey the other morning, and they were talking about Cardi B, and she was saying that she don't want to be famous. She want to be able to say what she want to say, and people not take it. She just want to say stuff, and people don't take it. Have a whole conversation about something she said, and I can understand it. Like I wouldn't want to be that famous to. I can't just have a general conversation and then everybody go analyze every word I said later on the TV show.
Well, some of that come with the territory though. You can't say you don't want to be famous and then you put up a video every week. It's one of those things.
But see, she was saying she want to be like Steve Harvey. She can say whatever she want to say and go about her business.
Steve can't say whatever you want to say. Steve has his niche, and he sticks in his niche. He's very good about that. He's a comedian. He do some self-help stuff, and so he kind of got his lane. But it's certain topics that even if you start talking about it, he get canceled. He ain't impervious.
This morning, and the thing is, he is not a fool. He's not ignorant. He knows exactly what he's doing when he's doing it. This morning they was talking about Chris Paul, the kid touching on his mother and his wife, and he said, if that was me, I would have to whoop whoever his guardian is. He didn't say he was gonna whoop the 16. He said my fame can't handle me whooping a 16-year-old, but I can whoop whoever his guardian is. The thing is, so he ain't no fool. He know everybody have limitations in whatever atmosphere, whatever influence they have.
Yeah, I think that's part of the issue we have now is that people, it's a desire to be able to say whatever you want and not be held accountable for what you say, which I think is the root of the problem with Cardi B. She want to say whatever crazy things she want to say, but it's like whether you famous or not, you can't do that. Don't nobody know me. But if I go to work talking crazy, I'm gonna have consequences.
See, times have changed now for comedians. Also, they've been saying whatever they want to say for so many years. Now they getting slapped and tackled and stuff like that. So they kind of gonna limit them after a while.
Well, let me.
I don't know because I'll put up nephew Tommy on Steve Harvey show for a long time. He did Eugene for a very long time, and then I've been trying to figure out why is Tommy not doing Eugene no more? Why is he not doing Eugene no more? And one day he was like, it came up in conversation, and they were like, because of all the, what is it, LGBT, all them letters. Because of that, he stopped doing the character, so it wouldn't be offensive. And I like, it really wasn't offensive. It was just funny.
It ain't offensive to you.
Exactly. So here's the thing about that. It's very platform specific. So Tommy on the nationally syndicated radio show, he is beholden to whatever they deem appropriate. Right. Now, if he was to go off and start a YouTube channel, he can say whatever you want to say on there, for the most part, as long as he ain't cutting nobody's head off or promoting violence or nothing like that.
You can cut folks' heads off. You gotta be in the right country though. You gotta have a mask on.
Let me get to JP. JP had a comment coming in. What you had, JP?
Well, like everybody's saying about the role models and stuff. Even when you growing up, you had a famous role model, but you also had a local role model, somebody that you always, I ain't gonna say look up to, but you always watch, and that's what we kind of lose the interpretation upon. I mean, it's one person in your community that you look up and be like, wow, either that guy got it or that family has it. And then you always have that famous guy that you always have aspirations to be about. That's just the human nature. And no matter how much we want to deny it, you can't. And but like you said, with the social influencers, everything now is so political that, like you said, whatever you want to say via YouTube, your own podcast, whatever, you can say it, and you can become a social influencer because only thing people got to do is hear the conversation, say, I like what this guy's talking about, and if you keep putting the same old material out each and every week, you start getting more and more and more and more followers, and next thing you know, boom, you can become president.
Kayla said, role models. I think it depends on what roles and interests you, and so it does depends on what interests you and what roles and things are going on in your life. And Charles said role models are still relevant. It's a tough conversation with so many angles. I'm struggling to write something, which I get it, man, because it's different today, and especially with us with kids. You think about you're trying to be a role model to your child, you're trying to put them around positive people, but at the same time, you got this social media thing that's on 24/7, and in an instant, it can kind of take their view away, and they looking at somebody, you like, man, I don't know if I completely agree with that person, but they chimed in. That's where they are, and so that's one of the things that we had to look at, especially
I
when you.
will, I will
Go
say
ahead.
that I had one little famous role model lately. And that was Obama after he won. Cause I was like, man, Obama could do it, I could do it. And then I heard him talking about something with some war in Iraq and all that stuff, and some with some history and stuff. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I think they're in the path that I ever want to take in life.
So
Well,
looking at that, especially people like Obama and other presidents or people in power, let's look at them and versus the people who are social media famous, who are social media influencers, and just kind of do a versus or compare to them. Who you think will win? Like if you sat down and said who had the most people really following them or modeling themselves after what they were saying, would you say to be more the leaders here in the world or the leaders here in America or social media?
Social media.
I
When
don't
you
You're
know,
give
talking
me
about like a single person, like Obama versus one social media influencer, or just Obama versus social media collectively?
And I'm not saying this here, Obama, just use him as an example, but just leaders of, let's say, a
Okay, those
community.
groups.
Yeah, leaders,
hey,
of the community or the nation versus social media influence.
social
Oh,
media
definitely
will
social
always
media.
win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
social media for sure. It ain't even a
It-
comparison.
I don't know. Trump had a lot of followers. He had a lot of followers. Even if we didn't like him, we would still tune in to see what
who?
he said. Or
But
Trump.
Trump.
Who?
but the
But
thing about Trump is
that don't mean he was a role model for you though. You just at a
He
certain point
wasn't a
was
role
forced.
model, but he was an influencer some kind of way.
but that's the thing. I mean,
He might
I
have been
guess that's
role
what
model
made
for
it.
some people.
But that's what's so interesting about it is Trump was a businessman turned celebrity, basically running into being a social media influencer, and he ran for president and won.
That's the
Basically based on his popularity on a television show, he ran for president and won.
But do we have any social media influencers right now that we can say that person ran, they will make it president?
if we had
Well,
one, you
so
can't. You can have another.
yeah, exactly.
If he opened up,
I don't
if he
see
was able
nobody who
to,
can do it.
if he was able to create that path, just about anybody can walk down the exact same path at this point.
So the thing about being president is it's not Donald Trump against everybody. It's Donald Trump against whoever the Democratic candidate is, which that's really the crux of the issue is like the Democratic candidates just don't drum up enough interest to compete against Donald Trump in the way that in the way that he appeals to his audience. So with Donald
One thing.
Trump, he appealed to certain people. Like he had actual political points. It wasn't just like he was famous on social media or he was famous on the show and people voted for him off of that. Nah, he campaigned and he rallied on certain topics, certain points that resonated with certain people in the country that thought that nobody cared about them for, pretty much good reason. And those people came out and supported him in droves. Like that's what it was. It wasn't just
But
pure
I
social
think
media or nothing like that.
I think he
Really?
was a role model for somebody. I do.
No,
He was a
it's
role
not
model.
for somebody. He was a role model for a majority of
Yeah, for a
America, to
lot
be
of people.
honest.
So, like
And
Caleb said, Trump was a role model for those who looked up to him.
Yeah.
And like Charles said, Trump might not be a role model, but he's a role model to us, but he's a role model for a lot. And, we have to think about this thing. Even when you're looking at role models, your role model change as you grow, as you get older. I mean, think about Trump decided to say some things that a lot of people wasn't saying. And a lot of people like, oh man, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. And so now I'm following this guy. This guy wanna lead me. This is, and it's like, man.
you say that your role models are people you as you grow, they become your role models. Also, as you fall, people become your role model because
Exactly.
you can't
As
tell me
they
some people.
fall.
A lot of folks, a lot of people didn't fall for that sucker. But hey, that's a whole nother story. But I agree with Jerry. I'll vote for The Rock.
I was going to say that in a pure popularity contest right now, it'd be hard to beat The Rock. Like if you put The Rock against Donald Trump, I think he would appeal to some of them people. The pure racists, obviously, he's too creamy for them to vote for.
And if Arnold Schwarzenegger had the ability to run, I think he'll win as well.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think The Rock is just really, really popular right now on his own base, or is it because of Kevin Hart?
It's completely on his own. The Rock popularity started all the way back from his wrestling days.
Yeah,
he always something as small as a group of wrestling and made it worldwide. There's so many people who only started watching wrestling because they found out The Rock did it. Oh, let me go check that out. Rock
he is the people champ.
I mean, he is
for sure. Yeah, because he's famous in he's successful in a whole lot of areas outside of them couple of movies with Kevin Hart. And then he actually learned how to act a little bit
and do a good
he played his role, just like Ryan Reynolds, you know what to expect with him. Yeah.
So going back into the social media influencers now, especially in our community, we had one that was very controversial, especially around women, who just recently passed. And so, of course, we got to bring him up. His name is Kevin Samuel. For those who may not know who he is, he's a social media influencer who typically talked about relationships, especially relationships with Black women. He felt like, in a nutshell, that a lot of I ain't gonna say all, but a lot of Black women did not hold themselves accountable to situations that they wanted to put themselves in. And I wouldn't even say it was Black women, not just Black women, but more so Black single women. He didn't too much mess with the married ones or the ones that were taken, but if they were single, he pretty much was on their tail. What can y'all say about Mr. Kevin Samuels?
I plead the fifth before we even start.
I was about to say we need to make sure JP up to speed on who he is.
Nope. I already got enough in the intro about I plead the fifth. Fine.
Okay.
Nope. I'm not in it.
You already messed up for the night.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. All right.
Yeah, hey, we had to move from the car to the crib, man. I don't know what's going on.
Oh man, well I guess since I just joined the party, I guess I'll come in. Man, Kevin Samuel, oh man, the dude when he hit the social media scene, he hit it with a bang. Now he caused some controversy. But I mean, with like a lot of things, I listened to some of his interviews and some things he had going on, and I mean everything he said wasn't bad. I mean, he had some bad, he had some good. I mean, one of the things that I took out of that he really wanted to uplift the Black man, and he wanted the Black man to be uplifted and almost like they do the Black woman. So I think that is one aspect that you can take out of that he did kind of preach a lot. Now, just like a lot of role models, a lot of people, he said a lot of stuff that I don't agree with. So I think it just depends on how you take it. I know some people thought he was just the worst, I guess, because how he talked. But I mean, you got to take the conversation. And some of the stuff he said was real. For me, you got to listen. Some of the stuff he was saying, some people just it's kind of hard to handle facts sometimes.
Like what, Will?
So,
I got you, Will. I got you.
So like Rob,
Some of the
Rob
stuff
brought up
Kevin.
like
So
Rob
the
brought
thing
up
is-
earlier. Huh?
oh no, go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh no, I was gonna say, so the thing about Kevin Samuels, if you ever and Ryan, you probably picked up on this, he had refined his little show by the time he got famous. Right? Like the delivery, like he had the audio set up, he had the soundboard, like all of that stuff. By the time he got real big, he had already been iterating on that. And so really his delivery was a combination of truth with entertainment sprinkled on it. Like he had kind of like he was more of a persona, because I watched like a making of Kevin Samuels. And he started out talking to dudes. He started out dogging dudes the same way, talking about like, y'all men out here, y'all know how to take care of yourself. Y'all know how to wash your behinds. Like y'all ain't had no daddies. Y'all don't like. He started out like ragging on the guys, like, hey, you got to step it up and all this stuff. Nobody cared because he was talking about dudes. But then when the sound bites of him talking to women the same way came out, it totally took off. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe he's talking to women like this and all this stuff. And he latched onto that kind of, it was almost like coincidence, because that's who really, like, the more he talked about women, the more women called into his shows. So it's kind of like that's really what kind of catapulted him to the fame for the most part. And he just didn't. He just kind of leaned into it basically, because he was
my thing with
whack
Kevin
when he first started.
A lot of the stuff Kevin said, especially about women in certain spots, it was just over the top. And like, okay, you didn't have to go that far.
Yeah.
But if you really think about what he was trying to do, at least what I think he was trying to, I could be completely wrong. But I felt like he was trying to get men to do the same thing that we ask women to do. It's not just accept what you're given. We tell our women, especially our young girls, when they grow up, to, when you start dating, don't just accept the man to do the things that that he want to do, or don't just let him run over you. Don't just let him do X, Y, Z. So at the same time, Kevin was, even though he was delivering it terribly, he was trying to do the same thing. Don't just come in and allow that woman to dictate who you are and what you're supposed to be, and it was kind of like an equal thing, but he was just on one side of the spectrum, giving real sideways ways to look at it. I mean, because Kevin was saying stuff like, if you 38 with kids, you might as well be single forever. It's like, man, come on, guy. Like, people with kids can't get married. Like, that's just
so that's not really what he was saying. Ultimately, I'm saying it. Right here.
Eric is defending this fella. Come on.
So my thing is, I'm a realist. Like I hate when people overgeneralize, and obviously, like he's just like a controversial person, right? So if you saying like, well, he wasn't all wrong, some people are gonna feel like, oh, you a Kevin Samuels, whatever. Like that's just like we all thinking adults. So obviously his delivery, he was rude at times, disrespectful at some points. But as far as like his messaging, it was generally in his mind like a reality check. Like you 38 with 2 kids, but you want a guy that's making 6 figures and all of this stuff. It's like that guy, if he's making 6 figures, he's in the top 10% of earners in the country. He can choose whoever he wants. Why would he choose you? If you want to be married, you need to start understanding what the men that you're going after, what they have to choose from. And if they can choose from a 28-year-old with no kids or you, they're probably going to choose somebody who, hadn't had, shared these experiences with other people before. They want to start their own family new. They ain't going to walk in and, that's not 100% true. But that's like the general gist of it. It was like, hey, like you need a reality check. Like these are the stats. Like you want something that there's no evidence, kind of supporting that that's really going to happen. You want to be, happy. You want to be married. This is what your outlook is probably going to look like. And a lot of people didn't see that. Probably because he was kind of calling them linebackers and stuff. Mixed but that's generally what it was.
Hey, I feel what Eric said. I mean, because in anything in life, you got two sides of it, and I think he was putting both sides out there, Like I say, delivery was not all that great, but I mean,
that was by choice though. Yeah, that was by choice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But
no doubt.
But let's
look at another.
Let's just be honest about that though. He was rude. He put it out there. He said what he wanted to say, and if you ain't want to do you ain't want to listen to what he said, he hung up on you. But it was the women who really brought him fame, because
no doubt.
the men weren't the one who would bring him to social media attention. It was the women. So even though they might not like the way he said, they were still calling in, they were still tuning in, they were still sharing. They the one who brought the popularity to him.
But, and as much as
entertainment, they want to watch.
As much as entertainment, I think some of the women who were really trying to get on the show, saw themselves in what he was saying. It was one of those things where they were trying to prove him wrong. Like, I'm gonna get on here and show him. It's a challenge.
And see, and to be honest with you, I talked to Kevin before he passed, and I think that's what he was. but that's like the social influencer.
That's what they say.
Say what?
That's what they say. He died
with a woman.
He died on top of a woman, then.
Somebody gas station pills or something like that.
Some goat weed.
Exactly.
Go ahead, JP. What did JP say? Trying to hit it with that knowledge. Y'all
but see, that's right.
Y'all been listening to these gems. Y'all been listening to these gems JP trying to give out. Trying to drop them bombs on y'all, and y'all not listen.
They said okay was gay, but he died on top of a woman. I'm just saying it.
Look at that, defaming that fella while he's in his grave. He ain't defending himself right now. Let that man be.
Right.
Let that man be.
Go ahead, JP.
Continue, JP.
Yeah, you got the flow.
I'm in my but like you said, with Kevin said about being a social influencer, right? What can Willie just said it best? What can I do to draw people to my site, to my show every day? So even if he didn't feel that way, or if he did have it, he made so many controversial topics that, of course, he's gonna start bringing more and more people in, and and that's just where we at in society. Like Rob was saying earlier, people want a vocal leader. They want to stand behind the screen and just say, this is what I believe, and go from it. And people jump on the bandwagon. And, I'm telling you, man, social influence is real big, real big. I don't think Dr. Martin Luther King survived right now. If we were starting this stuff over again, he wouldn't survive.
Once they do what you don't want them to do, they'll flip on you like Derrick Jackson.
Tell us about Derrick Jackson. Tell us about Derrick Jackson. Tell us about Derrick Jackson.
Conversation with people about Derrick Jackson. I never liked Derrick Jackson, and I kept saying he was married, he was engaged, and I said, what man always talking about how to treat a woman, but never show his wife, never show his girlfriend, never show his fiance, whatever she had going on, and then all of a sudden, when stuff flip over, here she go on the video with you. Where she been all this other time? I didn't like her.
She was holding the camera. Let that fella be.
He was taking the camera. He was doing the cameras in the car. How was she holding the cameras in the car?
Apparently,
Hey, she wasn't allowed outside.
apparently she was asleep while he was messing around with the mother women.
She was waking up on that video.
I'm glad he counted counsel right now.
She was hogging out to sleep if that was the case.
But now he's coming back. He's gonna figure out a way to come back.
So speaking
Sell his
of
book.
continue with those social media influencers, what do you think about these two? And they most definitely role models in a certain age group. Logan Paul and his brother, what's the other boy name?
Jake Paul.
Jake, yeah.
I had
What do you
no
think
idea
about
who
them
this
two
was.
guys?
Those are the guys who was TikTok influence who started fighting, and they got some big fights with a couple of folks, right? Did they win any?
YouTuber.
They fighting.
Jake,
they been fighting people from
Jake
other
been,
sports.
yeah.
They ain't fought no real.
Jake been been beating the brace off folks.
Yeah, he been beating up
boxers or
basketball
nothing, but,
players and
the closest one he had was old boy Tyrone Woodley, but he was washed up.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't get so. I don't know, man.
I mean,
we ain't talking about the boxing. I guess we're talking about him being the social media influencer or whatever.
I mean, them guys. I mean, when it was TikTok, I seen some of their stuff. Just being on the site and stuff. But I never really knew too much about them. And then once they got into the whole boxing thing, I kind of followed them a little bit more because I watched the boxing. So, but as far as their influence, I'm pretty sure some younger folks probably looked up to them. If they're trying to, from what I saw, if you're trying to achieve that same social media status, I don't know what their background or where they came from, but I mean, in that way, I guess they can see them as some type of role model.
Yeah, I can easily see people looking at them like, well, don't let people paint you in the box. If you got a little social media following, your ability to pivot that into something else, your dreams or whatever is feasible because Jake Paul fighting basketball players.
Look at Eric dropping bombs. Eric said pivot. He can use pivot in multiple terms in boxing and basketball. Man, Eric, you dropping bombs over there.
Hey, man, I keep a double entendre tucked away.
I just sat there and listened for a while. Eric, I was enjoying myself. I forgot I was on
hey, why Terrence so shocked? I'm talking coherently, man.
Extremely judging.
No. See how it took a turn so quick.
Enunciate his words and everything. Whatever he's drinking, I like to give me a cup of it.
So I mean, that's the thing, man. A lot of times that people go from one thing and switch to the next, but it's pulling people, to them. Jake and Logan Paul, they've done everything from music to TV shows to Vine videos, TikTok videos, and now they boxing and fighting people. I mean, there's a lot of people, or at least a lot of younger people going, hey, I aspire to be them. I want to be Jake Paul, Logan Paul famous. I want to have that many followers. I want to be, in that group.
Oh yeah. So, it's so many I mean, social media famous, and whatever avenue, they can achieve that, they definitely gonna research and follow these people and see the path that they took and see if they can do it the same way.
They was kid actors. They was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
that's where they came from.
Did not know that.
A show that my kids used to watch, Berserk Bark. He was the older guy. Well, y'all probably don't know if y'all don't have kids, but he was the guy on that. I just looked up because somebody made the comment. So these are Nickelodeon kids.
Yeah, so they had
dropping the Nickelodeon comment first. Go ahead, Jay.
They had a little footing before.
But see, did they do something stupid one time, like eat a tongue or something? That I mean, it's like they
didn't want to make like a YouTube video about him like vlogging in the woods, and it was like
one of them got him
across a dead body or something.
One of them almost got canceled. One of them. What happened? What did he do?
Was that the one?
I think it was Paul. I don't think it was Jake. He did something. I can't
something in regards
remember.
like suicide or like somebody killing himself or something like that.
He did. Yeah.
It was Logan Paul got counsel. Now he's making more money than other.
He did what?
Trying to figure out exactly what he did.
It's like one of them did something like they ate a cow tongue or something like that.
Exactly. They did about anything and everything to get views and likes.
Oh yeah.
To get views and likes. That's what I'm saying, man. What are you know?
They get paid
at one point, a lot of folks was dying because they were trying to do those hang out the side of buildings and get those pictures with the selfie cams, and a lot of folks were falling and dying. So they had to put a ban on certain areas where you go. They'll put you in jail if you're trying to get to certain those locations because of views and likes.
Crazy.
So he almost got canceled because when he was in Japan, he uploaded a video showing a corpse hanging from a tree in a forest that was notorious for frequent suicide. So
suicide forest. Yeah, suicide forest.
So he go down there and he making videos and stuff down there. No, he almost got canceled, but it didn't even matter. He did that. People hated it, and here are now. He got 25 million followers. He making way more money than he did. Now he was 22 then. Now he's almost 30 now, and he making way more money.
Yeah. So the thing I was gonna say was fame is so fluid right now because a lot of companies have figured out how to monetize people. So if you famous in one arena, you can kind of dip and move between a lot of stuff. If companies can figure out a way to monetize it, like, oh, you get a little following, like we put you on this, then we'll make some money. So they capitalizing on that. It's so much to the point now where like a lot of people tie into people, right? It don't matter what category you got famous in, people hook onto the person, and then whatever that person do, everybody's kind of following thing. So you now in that solid box no more.
So with that, so now if you're monetizing every single person based on the things that they do and what people may potentially like, are they still role models?
To somebody.
Yeah. Especially in America, the way we set up, if you appear to be rich, it don't matter what you do. Somebody gonna want to be.
Somebody is aspiring to be like them. Yeah, right now.
Donald Trump is a prime example. Yeah. Like if Donald Trump wasn't rich, people wouldn't pay him no mind. But only because he do the stuff that he do and he rich. Because he's saying the same stuff that a lot of other people say. But the fact
I don't know about that. I don't think if Donald Trump was rich, I think
Trump had no money. What applicable skills or talents do he have outside of just known to be rich? Like
he's just a strong advocate.
Famous for.
Yeah, but
it sounds like you hating on that whole being rich and doing whatever you want to do and be a superhero type mentality, Eric. Hey. That's the underlying tone I hear in your voice.
Hey,
you said you act like rich ain't a superpower, right?
Hey, look, it's not hate.
Oh, I see what you did. I see what you did.
Just get your point out here now.
First off, Batman is not Donald Trump. Batman had plenty of the skills outside of just being rich. Let's get that out. If you took Batman money, he's still out here whooping folks and solving crime. Okay, Donald Trump ain't doing nothing.
All I'm saying is Batman, the money, even the money that don't even necessarily make Batman like it do Iron Man.
Yeah, it do.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I go out, roam around Hattiesburg beating up folks, I need money to get out of those situations.
So Batman is though Bruce Wayne had money though.
Bruce Wayne had the money. But Bruce Wayne had the money, not Batman. People didn't know that Bruce Wayne was Batman.
The reason why nobody said his name or nobody knew exactly who he was because he paid them off. On the side end.
Actual costume. That's why.
Good
Talking about
job, man.
Superman. You
Enterprise.
the one paying people to look the other way. Like, hey man, I changed my hair up a little bit. Don't look at me too close. Like,
Look, her, you good to go.
Hey, girl, no glasses, you a whole different dude.
Blue collar superhero.
He's
He's for the working man.
Yeah, you're right, because
I'm sorry, when you can pick up your whole office.
All right.
You ain't blue collar, cuz you just choosing to do some stuff.
Anyways, I always gotta bring back the hate to Batman. Like,
no, we just like to tie that into every podcast.
Every once in a while, if we can, we will.
Hey, that hate don't look good on you, man. That's all I'm saying.
Batman out here saving lives and putting
What did last night Batman say?
Batman providing y'all premium DC entertainment, y'all.
What did last night Batman say?
Not a one. Everybody dies on his watch. Superman died when he started connecting with Batman. Look at that.
I got one. The last person
Batman.
The negativity.
Exactly. And the evil, that darkness in his heart.
It ain't our fault Superman scared of the dark.
You got to watch
Batman. Superman still be dead if it wasn't for Batman. The last person you say.
Exactly.
Superman,
Batman literally son Superman, because he's son Superman. Like I took you out and I could bring you back.
Hey, since we talk about social media model, because I'm gonna get back because I don't know nothing about what y'all talk about.
There you go, John.
There have been some very good social media influencers that's helping. Like, it's a bunch of makeup people who have helped these women do their makeup right, and everybody's on that trend of doing that now. It's a lot of good social media influencers out. I know I watched one the other week about
women weren't doing their makeup right.
You trying to say they wasn't looking good?
That some people have came a long way from what they were. Okay, I'm not a guy. I'm telling you. Okay, I'm not a guy that look at women's eyebrows. I don't care nothing about your eyebrows. But now that they have changed it a little bit, now and I go back and look at the other ones when they used to just draw them on and stuff. Hey, that's been a total upgrade.
It catching your attention now.
From the guy that don't care about eyebrows.
I still don't really look at eyebrows, but I'm just saying you can tell the difference of. I'm watching. I'm going back to me now. I'm getting out the women. I was watching one the other day on, just suits, and this guy was taking like 5 suits that he bought. He had a brown, gray, black, and blue. Brown.
Oh yeah.
And then he took them and just switched them up to different outfits and stuff like that. It was like, it's pretty good information to just watch every now and then.
Add that to the group. I gotta get me a couple of basic suits so I can switch around like that.
Yeah, that's what Steve Harvey said. He said you only need 5. You need 5 suits.
Now I remember
black, blue, brown, gray, and tan.
So when I was growing up, man, my style was the long coat with the 50 buttons in the front.
Steve Harvey
church suit.
Yeah, but now that as I got older, the style has changed, and even Steve Harvey's style has changed because he was just all in the colors.
Yeah, Steve Harvey out there because
you can still.
Don't let these people change your style.
I wore a purple suit in junior high.
I remember.
You remember Purple?
Yeah, you was out there, bro.
I was out there. I was in the clothes.
I'm like, what kind of
Hey, Jonathan. Willie want him a purple suit. Trying to figure out where you got that purple suit from.
I'm good. I appreciate it.
I ain't gonna even bring up the silver suit I wore. That we had that conversation, a while ago. So, you can bring it
in. Shining and whatnot.
With social media being able. A lot of times the people who are kind of out there doing these wild things are the people who get the most feed or the most views. You don't always get to see the positive side of social media. People that's out there that trying to support people from to stop body shaming, to help people get their life together as far as mentally or even physically with suits and things like that. You don't get to see a lot of those positive things out there.
Somebody
Is it
mentioned
just
Tabitha.
because of the entertainment part of it, or is it because nobody want to see nothing positive? Like when
Somebody mentioned Tabitha Brown, and I was watching her faithfully. I would never eat what she was cooking because I ain't no vegetarian. But it's just her energy and her positivity while she was cooking them, whatever she was cooking for peanuts and stuff, and making it into stuff that wasn't really was the. So it just she took
Yeah,
some almonds and made them into tacos. When I
Yeah,
ate
I
this,
ain't for the
I did
I ain't for
watch
the
her the
fake
whole
meat.
time.
Yeah, man. People just it's human nature to just like chaos and destruction and craziness. Basically, stuff you ain't gonna do in your everyday life. You like to see people doing that kind of stuff.
so a
So
couple
that's
of
why.
positive one people put in the comments, like
yeah.
he was saying Tabitha Brown, Kevin on stage. I love Kevin on stage.
Kevin on stage, great.
He got a
Yeah.
lot of he do a lot of good things, especially his jokes are he try to keep them as clean as possible and is normally around his experience, just like everybody else. But his
Right.
I like his.
And then Kevin on stage built his own platform. That's a good way. I like for folks that's trying to go their own route on social media. He built his own platform. He's putting other comedians on. He's branching out with these small series. He's got the comedy series on his app. Can't think of the name of it right now.
Keep your distance.
Yeah. Keep your distance.
You got a whole streaming app.
Yeah. His app. Yeah, I got his app. Yeah, his app. Yeah.
I love not Carter Bank. That fella must have been to every
Oh.
Baptist church I ever been to. And the fella is talented to do and play as many characters as he plays. That fella is pretty talented. I don't see why he didn't went nowhere with what he's doing. Well, he's went somewhere, but not bigger than what he is.
I mean, that's the
Spread the
thing.
word, man.
So I encourage people as you come across positive people on social media, to give them a share, man. Because a lot of times we share the stuff that we shouldn't share. Stuff going on, negative stuff, people fighting, doing whatever. We quick to share stuff like that, but let's share some positive stuff. Let's put some stuff out there that's really good. If we really think about it, this is one reason why we started this particular podcast, just to kind of get some stuff out there that wasn't always negative. That maybe somebody listen to us and say, hey, this is an outlet where we can speak or talk, or maybe they have some questions. Just talk to some regular people. You ain't necessarily got to be famous. We just some regular guys from the South, willing to talk about our experiences.
I ain't famous.
Exactly.
Yeah, you the role model. I see Willie D the role model.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Like I
Not the
preach to
role model.
everybody.
Do not follow
Don't be like Willie. Be better than me.
We gotta raise that bar up, Willie.
I'm good.
One of our role models that we don't talk about, but who was a huge influence to us as we was growing up, and probably to our parents as well, was Bill Cosby. Now, Bill did some amazing things back then. That was how they said his shows. He used to get psychologists there to help with the modeling of the shows, just so you can show black people in a positive light. Now y'all threw him threw him in jail.
So here's the question.
You missed it, Terry.
I still want
You missed it. You missed it. See, wait a minute. See, he had the psychologist there, not to help with the show, but to help with the people that he talked to during private session.
But it raised a good question though. We talked about this a little bit when we had the music show. Can you separate the person from the action? Because we know the whole thing with R. Kelly, and a lot of people's like, hey, can't listen to R. Kelly music no more. Can't nobody do that. Same thing with Bill Cosby.
I still with R. Kelly.
Can you?
All right. Jello Man didn't do it.
After that show, for some odd reason, R. Kelly song popped up on one of my streaming apps. It was R. Kelly and Tyrese. I said, "What Tyrese doing? Singing with R. Kelly? That he know down."
I gotta listen to this to investigate more. I gotta say,
that was my
Tyrese,
question.
Man.
Did you still listen to it?
I had to. I had to. So you know the last time I heard R. Kelly forever.
So that's the thing. Can you separate the good that Bill Cosby did, with the action that he was accused of. I mean, he went to jail, but he got released, whatever, that whole situation. Can you
That's a
separate?
COVID. That was COVID release. That wasn't a re-release.
No, he got out. They say you good. You didn't do it.
So I think that I think the issue is like what's the guidance on how you should handle that? Because I think that generally in public, the way it goes is even if you ain't do something, if somebody publishes like, oh, Rod did this terrible thing, that's you, right? That's how people identify you forever. Even they come back later and say, oh yeah, we made a mistake, Rod didn't do it. People still gonna be like, oh yeah, that's Rod who did the crazy thing. Like public perception and the way that people want to just like label people so hard. Like you can only be one thing. Like it's very like polarizing. It's like either you a good person or a bad person versus everybody do good and bad. And Bill Cosby had to do a whole lot of good and apparently did a whole lot of bad as well. So it's like, does that negate the good he had? Like if you say, yeah, if it weren't for Bill Cosby, I wouldn't have, been able to see myself as a doctor or see myself living in a certain area or see myself in a certain light. That's still true. That impact was still made. Like you can't really take that from them. You just gotta watch your women around.
Eric, believe it or not, we did something what you just got through talking about today. I've been talking to my boys about being average. How do you want to be? Do you want to be average or do you want more in life? And then one of the kids brought up Bill Cosby. We see Bill. Bill didn't live an average life. He had the house. He had the family. He had everything that you want. And he had and then what my boy said today, he had the extra stuff. And this is how they brought it to me. And I actually thought about it. Everybody got skeletons in their closet. Mm-hmm. And how they throw it back on me, because I tell them all the time is a lot of stuff that I did in my past, I just didn't get caught. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. So today when we had our little session, they came back and said, well, what happened was even though he had the skeletons in the past, he got caught. But he still had the house, he still had the mansion, he still had the car, he still lived life. And they asked the question, was his life still average? And, it's just like what Rod's saying. You can't neglect the wrong that he did, but you also look at the positive influence he had. So, I mean, I say all that to say this. No matter how good you do in life, the negativity will always drown out the positive. And that just goes back to because of how the sinful world that we live in. No matter what you do good in life, you can do 1,000 things good. You do one thing bad, one thing, it can kill your whole career. Because like I said, we had a lot of, in Columbus, we got a lot of personal issues going on right now with that stuff. So, so at the end, negativity always wins.
Like in the comments here, you got AJ saying if people dismiss Bill Cosby and his works, we had to do the same for a lot of the movies made in Hollywood. The history behind these productions are crazy. There are a lot of double standards. And it's true.
So can I say
go ahead.
All of us are average. Y'all might be rich. I ain't rich. So all of us are kind of average. But in the end, we really only one bad decision from all of us, spending life in jail. And I think about just as me and JP and Taylor, we all in the school district. All you need is one accusation of doing anything. And then you're just labeled out there. You don't have to be done it. You don't have to. They can prove that you didn't do it, but you can mess up your whole life by just one accusation. So we're all subject to one bad decision. That's all we need to make, one bad decision, and then how would our life be? All the good that we've done, all the conversation we had, all the time that we went to church, and all the time that we helped somebody. After that one bad decision, some of our friends and some of our family gonna cut us off by just some that we did or didn't do.
that we did and probably got caught. Because the thing is, we probably all did something that can destroy our career in some form or some fashion. Not to the level of Bill Cosby, I hope. But
Yeah.
but
We
we
don't have
all
that,
did.
we don't have that popularity. We don't have that kind of fame. Even
But
if
like I
we
said,
get a couple of college people, we ain't got enough money for them to take us to court.
But
but
Sweet.
but it's true. We it all we have to make sure our good outweigh our bad,
Right.
and because it only takes that one chance for us to make the wrong move, make that mistake, and it all can fall. The house of cards can tumble on us.
So let me ask you a question. If we think about especially these celebrities who have these issues, I can only really think of one that is like on a mega status as far as celebrity, top notch, that so far hadn't had a big negative thing come out, and that person is LeBron James. He's the only one. Mike Jordan had the gambling problem and the drinking and the cheating and stuff. Even Shaq had the cheating thing. Bill
Kobe.
Cosby, Michael Jackson, Prince, Mike Tyson, all these guys had. LeBron
Tiger.
James, the only one.
Yeah, I always give him respect on that. You can say what you want about the GOAT, this, and he ain't that. But for him to come out of high school and be an instant millionaire at 18 and have carried himself the way he has, that's amazing. That's mind-boggling.
Hear me when I say this. All right.
Oh, here we go.
Follow me with it. The movie Trainwreck tells a lot about LeBron James' life. Hear
I'm
me
just
out.
surprised you watch Trainwreck.
Hear me out.
I don't know what that is.
LeBron James and his crew are not ignorant.
No.
Yeah,
With
yeah.
the NDAs and being connected to other famous people, LeBron James allowed other people to make mistakes and he learned from it. So despite all the accusations, like Derek Jeter had a rule that you could not come in his house with the cell phone. So LeBron James connected himself to the right people, right? And he was humble enough that he kind of made the right decisions, right? But like you said, Rod, nothing comes out on LeBron James. But that movie Trainwreck, he started talking about the NDAs and all that stuff. I'm just leaving it alone right there. Trainwreck talks about LeBron James life. I definitely hate LeBron James. Look, I'm not gonna read your statement. I hate LeBron James.
You ain't shake them kids' hands. I remember that.
People hate LeBron. He's a standard, man. Ain't he still mad at him for not shaking them kids' hands in Jackson?
What?
Touching the little black kid's hand.
Get your peasant hands away.
Yeah, that was rumors about him and his wife step outside of the marriage, but they do that willingly.
Oh, okay.
That was rumors. I don't know.
But see, in Trainwreck, LeBron said you gotta sign the NDAs. Don't talk to them if they don't sign. LeBron told a lot about his life in Trainwreck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, man. When people are, that's the downside to being famous and having money is if people think you got something, they're gonna try to get it. And think about this: people spend a whole lot of time and effort trying to scam and get over on us, and we regular. So imagine the amount of effort and research,
crazy
money. People spending money just to try to get money out of them.
Right.
Like that, I don't want them problems at all.
I got me a nice little text the other day, and he said, "Hey, your Netflix account has been suspended. Click on this link to figure out why."
There you go. Or your bank account. We accidentally deposited $100,000 in your bank account. Click this link And if you give us 50K, then we'll let you keep the other 50.
My favorite one is, hey, we found some fraud with your social security number. Can you give it to me so I can verify that it's the right one?
Right. Exactly.
I go. This is what I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
They probably hang up.
He said, do you need me to repeat it? One.
Hey,
So the funniest thing. Oh, go ahead. You probably
no,
I
go ahead.
was gonna say the funniest thing ever happened when I was working my last job, working cyber for the Hunter UAS, and this Indian dude called my desk phone on base at work saying, "Hello, I am from Microsoft, and we see your computer is having some issues, and we want to help you with your computer." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, that's so kind of y'all. Like, what do you need me to do? Like, I need you to. I will email you a link. I need you to click the link and allow me access into your computer. So I pulled up a virtual machine and click the link in there, and let him come in. I'm just like watching him go into the computer, and he's like, "You don't do much on this machine." I'm like, "No, I don't use it that much." And just trying to see like what exactly he was trying to go and do. He was trying to turn off all my security stuff and trying to copy all the files of the hard drives. I'm like, this is crazy. Like how many people has he done this to?
A lot.
Hey, Eric, I just got a question for you, Eric. Exactly how rich are you that you just came up with a whole virtual computer for this man? I just want to
rich. This is work. It's literally click 2 buttons, you make a virtual computer on your computer.
I don't know nothing about that.
Come on, JK, you don't know that? 2 buttons. Hit two buttons. That's all you gotta click.
That's a boy.
Look, pop, boom. The boom is the enter. Pop, boom.
That's the official procedure for making one. There's the game right there.
There you go. Now you know, Jonathan. So you don't have to ask those crazy questions again. Continue, Aaron.
You ready to go out in the workforce now, Jonathan?
Huh?
You ready to go out in the workforce now? Create virtual computers.
That's all right. That's above my pay grade. They don't pay me enough.
But look, have that ever happened to y'all before though? That somebody actually put some wrong money in your account and the bank allowed all that to happen before?
You know what?
Ever happened to y'all?
It happened to a friend of mine. That the bank deposit $20,000 in her account, and after 3 days, if they didn't catch it, she was able to keep the money.
What?
They didn't do me like that. I was working at Aberdeen. I was working at Aberdeen, and fresh out. I didn't know anything about the December to January pay period. For those that don't know, in December,
the drought. We call it the drought.
It's a drought, right? So you get 2 checks in December, right? Really back to back, and then you don't get any other checks until January. So this was my second
end of January.
End of January.
So you get paid right before you get paid at the beginning of December and right before Christmas. Yeah, Christmas break.
You got 6 weeks to go. 6 long weeks.
Right. So this was my second year in Aberdeen. I got a nice deposit put in my account. I didn't know where it came from, whatever. I just know it was a nice deposit put in my account. So I'm like, yes, God is good, bless me. So then I get a call 3 days later saying, look, we made a mistake, the bank did. And
they missed that threshold, JP. You should have kept it. That was yours.
Well, I didn't know. They were like, well, you're going to have to pay the money back. I said,
I've been looking up.
I said, how am I going to pay the money back? Y'all put the money in my account. This is my money.
You didn't pay the money back.
They said, we made a mistake.
So I say this. Normally, if they make a mistake, they just take it out. They might not even tell you about it. So the fact that they asked you probably meant that you had to consent to them taking their money out.
Oh no, they
can't pull money out your account without your consent.
It was a pretty nice amount.
They can't pull money out your account without your consent.
My bank will bounce a $5 check, so I'm just saying.
No, that's your consent. You agreed to paying those fees if you bounce a check. You didn't agree to giving them back the money if they made a mistake.
If the bank see a check that going to a church, they shouldn't bounce a $5 check. I'm just saying.
Well,
they don't know it's a real church.
Haven't been back to that church ever since.
Oh yeah, I understand. Hey, you
the church, the church that was that would be unnamed.
And their argument was this: they said, "Well, were you expecting money coming into your account?"
Yep.
I said, "Yes,
all the time."
I was, because I didn't. This is my second year teaching. I'm thinking I'm supposed to get paid again around January, the first part of January. So long story short, they took their money back out, and it put me probably about 4 months to get out the hole because of the bank screw up.
According to Google, if a bank deposit money to your account in error, it does not need.
We got the answer.
It does not need your approval. But if you change it to a different account, they can't go in the other account to get the money.
So what I should have did, when I seen the surplus, I should have took it.
You should have put it in a different account, and you should have said, "Hey, you can have whatever's in that account after that account. Have a good day."
So the moral of the story is, check your facts before you say it.
or read the whole paragraph before you start reading.
Oh man,
that's funny. Classic lessons from a role model.
Classic.
So, to end the show, unless anybody got anything else, just be
mindful. The show over with.
Damn.
Just be mindful as we all continue to grow, especially if we all approach that wonderful age of 40. That while you try to be a role model,
who might be 40?
I don't know who they talking about, cuz.
I think Rod's gonna be first, right?
No,
hey, look, y'all can say all that y'all want to. If the Lord bless me to be 40, I'm gonna be proud of my 40.
See,
we're gonna be proud. We can say,
yeah, we can say that.
Let's shoot a little higher than 40. Let's shoot a little higher than 40, Jay. I'm shooting for at least 85. Lord bless me with 85.
Yeah, I'm talking bad about 40. I'll be happy to see 40.
JP, the citizens of what did you just win? The man of the year?
No, I'm the hometown hero of Columbus, Mississippi.
Hometown hero.
I'm the only person that can say I flew with the Thunderbirds. That's the last I heard.
I drunk some Thunderbird.
Bad decision.
I don't know if I want to brag about that one.
Same thing. What?
Hey, Willie, you say it took the same mental endurance to do that, huh?
Hey man, you got to try the Thunderbird, so you know you don't like the Thunderbird.
You gotta try it all.
How you don't know if you never tried?
It ain't that you don't like it; it's what happened after you woke up.
Did not drink a lot of it. It is not a great taste.
But be mindful of the roles and things that you play in life. Understand that we all have kids and people are looking up to us. But social media is out there and it's real. There's a lot of famous or social media famous people out there, and they're pulling the eyes of everybody around. So, like they tell us all the time, be the role model that you can be the person that people can watch and say, I want to be like them. Be somebody different, be somebody encouraging, be someone that follows Christ. So with that being said, if there's nothing else, I will say next week we're gonna do it. We seems like everybody been talking about it here lately. Next week our topic is the N-word. We're gonna attack the N-word.
Neapolitan.
Are we gonna put a disclaimer on the on it beforehand?
Nigeria.
We wide open. It's gonna be the last show.
Are we gonna play the video that we watched earlier today as the intro?
I don't think we're gonna.
Now that one might be copyright. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think good answer, right? It's copyrighted. Can't play that.
But with that being said, we appreciate everybody to take some time out, hang with us, and like always, you ain't got to go home, but you gotta get up out of here. Deuces.
Peace. I got my own.